What's going on, guys? Steven here, and I'm happy to bring you back to my Week 4 EPL battle against the former champion of last season, Martin. Um, again, this is one more week where we're just doing a quick team recap into a post-com. Week 6, we should be back on track. Right now, this is Week 4, so one more video. We'll be back on track with the same day uploads and the full team builders. So, kicking it off, we have Frostbite, the Weavile, with a choice band this week with Icicle Crest, Ice Shard, knockoff, Poison Jab. Poison Jab's there for the little Ninetales. Knockoff is there for stab and just destroy everything. Ice Shard is there for priority. Icicle Crest is there for his multiple ice weaknesses. We're rocking Adamant this week, actually. It doesn't outspeed everything. It doesn't outspeed a Thunderous Incarnate. But I'm not too afraid because I can click Ice Shard anyway. And I'm immune to his Prankster T-Wave with the new update in Gen 7. It was the only thing I would have had to run Jolly for, and I didn't really think it was worth it this week at least. His only switch into this is Vaporeon, or in a sense Volcanion, but they can't really switch in on rocks and take 2 knockoffs, so it's actually pretty crazy how much damage this thing does. Next we have Spin to win the Hitmontop with max HP, max defense, Intimidate, Leftovers, Close Combat, Toxic, Rapid Spin, Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is there. It OHKOs the Hoopa. Rapid Spin's pretty standard. Toxic's pretty standard. Close Combat, he has a decent amount of fighting type weaknesses. This is my main Excadrill switch in. I have a couple other mons for his physical attackers, but Excadrill specifically was a big problem for my team. Hitmontop is my one real check to it. It's not even a check, it's pretty much a counter. They can't really do much to me after the Intimidate at all. Next we have Pillow Pet the Snorlax, rocking the Chesto Berry with Thick Fat, with Curse, Rest, Earthquake, Return. Bit of a mixed defense set this week. I wanted some physical investment because I needed something to take on Entei, and even a banded Entei did over half the Hitmontop after Intimidate, which is kind of insane. With the Thick Fat ability, it helps me take on Entei a lot better. And potentially I can even get a curse up on it and forego the Sacred Fire burns after the rest, and then I can proceed to fire away Earthquakes and Returns. Next we have Suplex City, the Heracross. Choice Scarf this week with the Moxie ability, with the moves Mega Horn, Close Combat, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. Speed Crept to outspeed... let's see, what was it? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even tell you his 11 mons. His mons are Thunderous Eye, Excadrill, Entei, Vaporeon, Tangrowth, Volcanion, Alola, Ninetales, Staraptor, Crocodile, and Crocodile, Nidoking, and Hoopa. I think the Excadrill was made to outspeed a max speed Hoopa, just in case. I don't really like playing for speed ties, so if he was max speed Scarf Nidoking, whatever. But I'm not really one to play for a 50-50 to decide the game. I'd rather know that I'm not going to be faster, switch out accordingly. Or next we have Anime Titties, the Nidoqueen, rocking the Life Orb with a Sheer Force, and it has Stealth Rocks, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Fire Blast. I originally had Thunderbolt on there for Vaporeon, but I realized that set couldn't break a potential air balloon on the Excadrill, which is pretty unfortunate. So we had 156 HP EVs, 252 special attack, and 100 speed. The 100 speed was to outspeed a non-invested Excadrill. I thought it was worth at least trying. It could potentially paid off if he wasn't speed invested. Definitely something that I didn't have to invest too much, so I didn't think it was that big of a risk because I wasn't going to take an Earthquake anyway. So, and last but not least, we have Patrick the Starmie, holding the Expert Belt with the Analytic ability, almost max speed, max special attack, some investment in special defense, with Flash Cannon, Thunderbolt, Scald, Ice Beam. Basically just a coverage mon. I had Rapid Spin on Hitmontop, and it's a pretty good wall breaker this week with the Expert Belt and Analytic. Has Flash Cannon, Oko's Alola Ninetales, Thunderbolt for Vaporeon and Volcanion, Scald because it's the best move in the game, and then Ice Beam for his pretty big ice weakness. So we're going to go ahead and get into the game. So starting off, he's going to lead Thundurus, and I'm going to lead Nidoqueen. This is basically the ideal situation for me. There's really nothing he can do to me outside of a hidden power, or even like he could have Psychic, but I'm not really too afraid of it. I definitely just want to get rocks up. It puts pressure on the Volcanion, the Staraptor, the Thundurus, and it also forces in the Excadrill to spin, which is pretty important, getting that thing in and getting it dealt with. So we're going to go ahead. He's going to swap out in the Thundurus. He's going to go into Nidoking, and I'm going to go for my Stealth Rocks. Now here, I'm thinking he's potentially Modest Life Orb because Nidoking outspeeds Nidoqueen. So I went into my Snorlax, and he goes for the Earth Power. It does 31%. So that damage was telling me he was max special attack. So I was assuming Scarf because he wasn't getting the modest. He wasn't getting the Life Orb modest rolls, but he was getting max special attack rolls. So I had to assume he was Scarf at that point. And then he goes for a Poison Jab. So he wasn't Scarfed, which was super interesting to me. So we're going to go ahead and we went for a Curse, which is kind of a misplay on my part. The Earth Power was a roll to kill, which is a bit unfortunate because if I got the rest up. So right now we can just go into Weavile. I confirmed he's not Scarf, so I can just fire off a knockoff. And a knockoff actually one-shot the Nidoking. Volcanion's going to come in. As you can see, that's just disgusting damage. It's gone to 2. Excadrill's going to come in. And this is one of the biggest plays of the game. So he's Air Balloon. So I was thinking he was a more defensive set. I was thinking he was HP invested. HP invested had a chance to live the knockoff banded, but it had a pretty big chance to kill too. As well as if he wasn't HP invested, he had almost no chance at living it. I really thought he was going to Rabbids, but I did debate it back and forth for quite a while with myself on if he knew I was going to switch and was just going to spin. I figured if he's spinning, I might as well get a knockoff. If not, maybe we can win the game without Weavile. So I just went ahead and went for knockoff. And we get the roll, and that's Excadrill down. Choice Band of Weavile is a monster. So he's going to go into Thundurus here. At this point, he realizes that I'm adamant because I need to be adamant to Oko that Excadrill. He goes for Superpower on the Thundurus. We can just go into Nidoqueen again, eat that up. Right here, we can fire off Sludge Wave. Hoopa comes in, does resist. I guess he expects us to switch out here as he goes for the Thunder Wave, which is a smart play because if Weavile comes in, yeah. And at this point, I make the greedy play, and I realize Weavile kind of comes in and cleans up here, and I get 6 kills on one of my favorite mons. So I go for the Sludge Wave, and I sack off the Nidoqueen, and here's where the greedy play really comes in. Banded Ice Shard actually just cleans up the game, which is kind of crazy. Barring, so he goes into Nidoking first, and here I swapped out and hit my top because if he went into Nidoking, I was thinking he was like Yachi Berry or potentially like some defense invested. So I went for the sucker for just some chip and sack here, Hitmontop. So we go for the Banded Ice Shard. He's actually max HP Nidoking, and he lives on 1, but it's okay because he gets a max roll Earth Power and almost kills me, but he doesn't. So we're fine. We're living. He goes into Staraptor. I was really feeling Scarf Quick Attack, but he wasn't. He was, I believe, banded, something like that. I asked him after the game. I can't really remember. It was a couple days ago. And then we're going to Ice Shard to clean up the Thunders. So that was the game. Weavile picked up all 6 kills. It was a 3-0, I believe, in the end. Even if that Excadrill play cost me, he clicked Sandstorm, which was kind of crazy, but I can respect it. But I had Hitmontop to go with from there. So I don't think the role mattered. It definitely would have changed the course of the battle. Maybe I don't get to play around with Weavile and get all 6, but it was definitely a good game to Martin. Super fun to play. It was definitely a terror to prep for Entei. That thing is just insane. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.